Hey guys, welcome to another Nick's Collectables. As you can tell by the huge box in front of you, I've kind of been on a statue kick lately. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but ever since my wife got me one for Christmas, I've kind of been all into this lately. I'd like to apologize a bit for using so many simple stills, but it's really awkward to film something this size in my particular space. Plenty of room to display stuff like this, but filming takes up to a whole new level of space. So, what you have here is the latest to my collection. This is Chun Li cosplaying as Morrigan from Darkstalkers. Now, part of the reason I got this was I just decided I really wanted a Morrigan statue for some reason. She's such a cool, iconic character, and I thought owning a statue of her would be fun. And this, well, as soon as I saw it, I was pretty much sold. I know these are really expensive limited runs, and they're not for everyone, but I was in a position to be able to get my hands on one and thought I'd do a review of it for those of you that are on the fence about this one, particularly considering how limited the run is. This is number 9 of a total lot of 600 that are going to be made of this statue, meaning it's going to get really rare, really fast. As you may already have been able to tell by the front of the box, they went to a really good amount of effort to ensure that they caught the dark, brooding nature of Darkstalkers while making it feel a bit like Chun Li from Street Fighter by leaving her in one of her more iconic poses from the game. As we flip the box around, you can see that the scope of the upper half of the figure and how nicely the two aesthetics of the characters blend together. This should likely come as no surprise, since Capcom came up with both characters, and well, if you're gonna blend two of Capcom's female fighters together, what better blend than Chun Li and Morrigan, arguably two of the most iconic characters that they have. Now that we actually have this out of the box, I really lament even more not being able to film this better for you guys. The entire foam that this thing was packed in actually had straps cinched around it to keep it together. And that's for obvious reasons. Just look at how all these parts are arranged in the box. You've got Chun Li herself, her stand, 2 large wings, 2 small ones that you can barely see, and the stand, I swear I'm gonna get good shots of this thing. This thing looks phenomenal. It also comes with a pair of gloves. Now, the last one of these statues I got didn't actually come with gloves, but I really like the addition to this. It actually helps you put it together without having too many smudges all over the statue from the oil from your hands and fingers and stuff like that, getting all over the statue while you're putting it together. So, let's start getting these parts out so you can get a better look at them. First up is the stand, and man, does this thing ever make a statement. The blood washing up against the stone itself with that deep red color contrasting against the gray of the stone just looks awesome. The fact that it has slightly different shades just adds to the aesthetic in my mind. Next up, we've got her wings, which have that nice deep purple that was always associated with the character. You can even see the pegs where it would hook into her back. I'll admit, this was one of the more awkward parts to actually put together, was the wings. That's because of her hair. It's so long you kind of have to reach underneath it to hook the wings on, which you have to do a little bit by feel, I'll be honest. It's not hard by any stretch, it's just one of the more awkward parts of assembly. Next, let's take a look at the wings that go on her head. You can see just how small and delicate these things are, which brings me to my next point. For the love of God, keep the box! If you ever have to move this thing, it would be so much easier to just put this thing back in its original box and move it, than to have all these delicate parts loaded in a box somewhere just asking to be broken. Now, before we do too much else with the actual statue as far as assembly goes, let's go ahead and get Chun Li out of her wrapping, and when we do, you're going to see she has a peg, just like the wings do, on her foot. Now that slides into the slot on the main stand, and it does it so cleanly that you'd actually be forgiven for thinking it didn't just come that way. There's almost zero wobble or flex in this once it's slotted in. But just a word of caution, I would still pick this up by the base, not the leg, just to be safe and avoid any potential accidents. Now that she's actually situated, let's take a look at the arms. You can see by these pictures that there's a small metal piece in each one of the arms. Those are magnetized so that when you slot them into the shoulder, it holds tightly. It sounds odd, but the effect works really well, as you can see. In fact, while we're looking here, if you zoom in closer, you can actually see where the wings on her head go in. These just kind of pop in really easily and they look super clean. See? Just like so. Now, since we're going ahead and looking at the head, let's just take a look at how amazing this head sculpt is. As she rotates around, you can actually see how clean those pieces fit in and how much time and detail went into the face sculpt. I found the hair on the skull particularly nice, as I always love it when they add some form of movement with these kind of clean lines on statues like this. It gives it a sense of motion. Okay, at this point I went ahead and put the wings on her, that way you can actually see how good they look from the back and actually how they drape. Now, you can actually see, if I go in a little bit closer, just exactly where they connect. And I'll admit, when I first put these in, I thought, these are going to drape a little too far down, but honestly, the longer I have the statue and the more I look at it, the more perfectly it fits and looks just like Morrigan. Now, as we pan up and down the figure, you can actually see how much detail they went to, so that the statue not only paid homage to Chun Li, but to Morrigan as well. The outfit looking identical to the one that Morrigan would wear, including the classic coloring and the bats along the leggings, all the way to the form-fitting bodysuit that had the feathers along the shoulder straps. The pose itself, that's all Chun Li, one of her iconic kung fu poses as a matter of fact. As for the facial expression, it's a little bit less playful than Morrigan, and it would be a little bit more purposeful, kind of like Chun Li. Again, a really nice blend of aesthetics. I adore this statue. I think it's every bit as good as I could have hoped for, and more. As someone who grew up loving these characters, to be able to afford to have something like this in my home is a real treat, and I could not be happier with my purchase. If you have the means and the space to be able to have one of these on your shelf, or better yet in a display case, I say jump on it before they're gone. As always, thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give it a like. Now, if you see more of the content on my channel that you like, please hit the subscribe button and the notify bell. That way you get notifications whenever I upload new videos. Till then, happy collecting!